A storm doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it comes quietly, slipping into the heart of Heartland when no one is prepared. And in Season 19, Episode 9, that storm strikes Amy Fleming in a way she never expected. A single message, a single moment, pushes her into the darkest corner she has faced in years. But what makes this moment even more powerful is not Amy's fear, it's the sister who steps into the fire with her. Because when Amy's life begins to unravel, Lou doesn't just stand beside her, she becomes the force that refuses to let her fall. It started like any normal morning on the ranch, the kind where Heartland felt safe, warm, and predictable. But for Amy, something felt wrong the moment she stepped outside. The air was unusually still, the horses restless, and a strange heaviness pressed against her chest, warning her that something was coming. She tried to ignore it, tried to convince herself it was just the stress of the last few weeks, but deep down, she knew better. Amy always knew when trouble was near. She moved through her morning quietly, forcing her hands to stay steady as she fed the horses and checked the pens. The ranch hands greeted her, but even they seemed more tense than usual, as if they sensed the shift in the air. Everything felt just a little off. And then, as she reached for her phone, the entire world around her seemed to stop. A new message. Short, sharp, cold. Amy's breath caught. She recognized the tone instantly, the same threatening presence that had haunted her before. The words weren't long, but they hit her like a punch. Her fingers trembled. That familiar fear she had buried months ago rose again, stronger than she remembered. Her knees weakened, and for a moment, she felt as if the ground beneath her was slipping away. But before panic could take over, Lou stepped into the room. Lou didn't ask questions at first. She didn't need to. One glance at Amy's face told her everything. Her expression shifted from confusion to concern to something fierce and unbreakable. Lou moved closer, her voice steady and protective in a way only an older sister's could be. "Amy, what happened? Tell me." Amy hesitated. She didn't want to pull Lou into this, not when her sister already carried the weight of the mayor's office, the ranch problems, and her own life. But hiding wasn't possible anymore. Not when the danger was already creeping closer. With a shaky breath, Amy handed the phone to her. Lou's reaction was instant. The worry in her eyes hardened into ice. Her jaw clenched, and her whole stance shifted into someone ready for a fight. She looked at Amy, her voice firm and certain. "We're handling this together. Whoever thinks they can scare you, they have no idea who they're dealing with." Amy felt tears fill her eyes, but this time not from fear, from relief, from gratitude. Lou had always been the one who stepped forward when life tried to push Amy down. And now, seeing her sister transform into this powerful, protective force made Amy feel stronger just by standing near her. At that moment, Jack walked in. One look at the two sisters, and he knew the situation wasn't normal. His calm strength filled the room, but Lou was already in motion, already planning, already shielding Amy with every breath she took. "No," Lou said firmly, "this is not happening again. Not to her." Her voice carried a finality that cut through the tension like a blade. Amy watched her sister take control of the moment without hesitation, calling people, demanding answers, and refusing to back down. The ranch had seen storms before, but this time the storm wasn't outside. It was standing right at their door, and Lou wasn't going to let it in. As the morning sun rose over Heartland, casting long shadows across the fields, Amy felt the truth settle heavy in her chest. Trouble was coming. But this time, she wasn't facing it alone. Lou was right beside her, fearless, determined, and ready to fight for her sister, no matter the cost. And that was only the beginning. The rest of the day moved like a slow-burning fire, spreading quietly through the ranch, while everyone tried to pretend things were normal. But nothing about Amy felt normal anymore. Every sound made her heartbeat jump. Every shadow felt a little too dark. The message never left her mind, not for a second. It clung to her like a weight she couldn't shake off. And Lou saw it. Lou noticed every tremor in her sister's voice, every forced smile, every nervous glance over her shoulder. Amy didn't have to say she was scared. Her silence said enough. Lou stayed close, never more than a few steps away. It wasn't just protection, it was instinct. She kept watching the windows, checking the locks, making sure Amy was never alone for too long. Her protective energy filled the house like a shield, a quiet warning to whatever danger was lurking. And yet, beneath that fierce determination, Lou carried her own fear. Fear of losing her sister. Fear of something slipping through the cracks. Fear of being too late. But Lou refused to show it. She only let Amy see the strength. By afternoon, Amy tried distracting herself by working at the barn. Horses were her escape, her comfort. She hoped their presence would help her breathe again, but even the horses sensed it. They were restless, pacing, snorting, picking up on the tension wrapped around her. Amy reached out to stroke a mare's neck, and the horse shivered beneath her touch. It was rare to see Heartland's animals so uneasy, and that only made Amy's chest tighten even more. Lou arrived a few minutes later, watching her carefully from the barn doorway. "You don't have to force yourself," Lou said softly. "I'm not," Amy whispered. I don't want to hide." Lou stepped forward, her voice steady but full of emotion. "You're not hiding. You're surviving. And there's a difference." Before Amy could respond, Jack joined them, moving slower than usual. His eyes were sharp, analyzing the space, picking up on details no one else noticed. His presence brought a small comfort, but the atmosphere still felt wrong, like the ranch wasn't entirely theirs anymore. As they talked, a sudden noise echoed from outside the barn, a sharp crack, like something metallic hitting the ground. Amy froze instantly. Her breath hitched, and her eyes darted toward the open door. Jack moved first, stepping in front of the girls with quiet authority. Lou grabbed Amy's arm and pulled her slightly behind her, her protective instincts sharpening instantly. Jack scanned the area, his hand resting on the doorframe as he leaned forward. For a few seconds, everything went silent. Then he exhaled and said, "It's all right. Just a loose gate latch. Wind knocked it." But even his reassurance couldn't calm Amy. Not this time. Her body stayed frozen, her breath quick and uneven. Lou turned to her slowly, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. "Amy, look at me," she said firmly. "You're safe. I'm right here." Amy nodded, but her eyes brimmed with fear. It wasn't just the message anymore. It was the memory of what happened before. The stalking, the threats, the feeling of being hunted by someone she couldn't see. Her mind kept pulling her back into that darkness, and she hated it. She hated how powerless it made her feel. Lou understood. Without needing words, she stepped closer, wrapping an arm around Amy's back and guiding her gently toward the house. "We're not ignoring this," Lou said quietly. "We're going to find out who's doing this, and we're going to end it." Her voice was controlled, but Amy could hear the fire beneath every syllable. Lou wasn't just protecting her, she was preparing for war. As they walked toward the porch, Amy realized something. This time felt different. This time, the threat wasn't just a distant shadow. It felt closer, smarter, more dangerous. And even though Lou was holding her steady, Amy sensed something else rising behind the fear, something cold and determined. She wasn't running anymore, not with Lou beside her, but she also knew the real danger hadn't even begun. Night settled over Heartland like a heavy blanket, but instead of bringing peace, it only made the tension sharper. Darkness had a way of amplifying fear, of turning every small sound into something dangerous. Amy felt it with every beat of her heart. The house lights were on, glowing through the windows, but even that warm light couldn't calm the storm inside her. She kept pacing the living room, arms crossed tightly, eyes flicking toward the door again and again. She hated feeling trapped in her own home. Lou watched her from the kitchen table, pretending to review some papers, but she wasn't really reading anything. Her attention stayed locked on Amy. Every step, every anxious breath, every forced attempt to stay calm. Lou wasn't letting her out of sight tonight, not when the threat felt closer with every passing hour. Then Amy's phone buzzed again. The sound was small, just a tiny vibration, but it sliced through the silence like a blade. Amy froze mid-step. Lou's head snapped up instantly, her expression shifting into something fierce and alert. Without a word, she stood and crossed the room. "Amy, give it to me," Lou said, voice steady but burning with tension. Amy swallowed hard and held out the phone. Her hands trembled, but Lou's did not. When Lou unlocked the screen and saw the message, her eyes darkened. The words were short again, but this time they were more direct, more personal. Whoever was doing this wasn't hiding in the shadows anymore. They were inching closer, testing boundaries, watching reactions. A chill swept down Amy's spine. Lou tightened her grip on the phone, jaw clenching. For a moment she didn't speak. Her anger wasn't loud or explosive. It was cold, focused, dangerous. The kind of anger that came when someone crossed a line that should never be crossed. "Amy," Lou said quietly, "we're calling the police. Right now." Amy shook her head instinctively. "Lou, what if it just makes things worse? What if... Nothing." Lou cut in sharply. Then her tone softened, but the fire didn't fade. "This person is getting bold. Ignoring it won't protect you. I will." Amy wanted to protest, but she couldn't. Not when Lou's eyes held such fierce determination. Not when her own legs felt unsteady, like the floor might shift beneath her. So she simply nodded. As Lou made the call, Amy stepped back, leaning against the wall for support. Her breathing grew shallow. Lou spoke clearly, firmly, giving every detail with the sharpness of someone who refused to let fear take control. But Amy barely heard the words. All she could hear was the rhythmic pounding of her heart. A few minutes later, Jack walked in, drawn by the tension. Lou ended the call and handed him the phone. He read the message quietly, and a shadow fell across his face. Jack was not a man easily shaken, but even he looked troubled. He stepped closer to Amy and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone in this," he said softly. "We're going to handle it." Amy nodded again, but her eyes glistened with unshed tears. She hated feeling weak, hated that someone out there had this power over her. She wanted to be strong, like she always had been, but right now the fear felt too real, too close. Lou moved to Amy's side, sliding her arm around her sister in a quiet, protective embrace. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. Her presence said everything. "I'm here. I'm not leaving." A sudden knock at the door made Amy jump violently. "Easy," Jack whispered, stepping forward, but the knock was firm, serious. And when Lou opened the door, 2 officers stood outside, their flashlights cutting through the dark beyond the porch. Their expressions told Amy this was no longer just a family worry. It had officially become something bigger, something dangerous. They came inside, asked questions, examined the phone, took notes. Lou stood beside Amy the entire time, answering for her when her voice shook, stepping between her and the officers whenever the questions got too heavy. Amy watched her sister, feeling a mix of gratitude and guilt. Lou was carrying all of this on her shoulders without hesitation. But beneath all the support, beneath all the strength, Amy felt something darker rising inside her. Something she had not expected. Anger, not loud, not wild. A quiet, burning anger aimed at whoever was trying to break her. For the first time, fear wasn't the dominant feeling. Something stronger was forming inside her chest. A promise. This wasn't over. And she wasn't going to let this person win. Lou's words still echo in Amy's mind long after she leaves the room. She keeps replaying them. "We fix this together." But as the sun sets over Heartland, Amy feels a storm building inside her chest. Her body is exhausted, her nerves are stretched thin, and her heart is pounding with a fear she can't shake. For the first time in a long time, she is terrified that the people she loves might get hurt because of her. And that thought alone makes everything feel heavier. When Lou walks back into the house after checking the security cameras with Jack, she immediately notices Amy standing by the window, hugging her arms tightly around herself. She walks toward her slowly, like a mother approaching a frightened child, even though Amy is strong and grown. But tonight, Amy doesn't look strong. She looks fragile. Lou places a hand on her shoulder and softly says, "You're not alone in this. Not today. Not ever." Amy closes her eyes as if those words hold her together. But just as Lou tries to keep things calm, the situation takes another sharp turn. Jessica rushes inside, holding her phone with wide, unsettled eyes. "You need to see this," she says. The 3 gather around her, and the screen shows something that turns their hearts cold. A new message. This time not a threat, but a warning. "You let her out of your sight. You shouldn't have. It's sent only minutes ago. The timing is too perfect. It means the stalker is close. Close enough to watch them. Close enough to know Amy briefly stepped outside." Amy's breath catches. Lou's entire expression changes. Her calm cracks, replaced by pure protective fury. That's it. We're not giving him another chance, she says, her voice trembling with anger she can't hide anymore. She calls the police immediately, demanding patrol cars, demanding protection, demanding answers. Lou is done waiting. She is done hoping the situation will fix itself. For the first time, Amy sees just how far Lou is willing to go to keep her safe. Jack steps in, standing tall despite the weight of the situation. Whoever this is, he's pushing too far, Jack says, his voice steady but lined with worry. He looks at Amy with the same protectiveness Lou has, but quieter, older, deeper. He promises he won't let anything happen to her. The family tightens around Amy like a shield, everyone alert, on edge, ready. But deep inside, Amy feels something else, a breaking point. She doesn't want to be the reason everyone is scared. She doesn't want to be the source of danger in the home that raised her. She presses her hand to her forehead, fighting the pressure building behind her eyes. Lou notices instantly and moves closer, holding Amy's face gently between her hands. Hey, breathe. I've got you, Lou whispers. And for a moment, Amy lets herself fall apart. Tears slip down her cheeks as she whispers, Why is this happening, Lou? What does he want from me? Lou pulls her into a tight embrace. I don't know, she admits softly. But I swear to you, we will not let him win. Their reunion isn't just emotional, it's fierce. It's a moment that proves their bond is stronger than any threat. The danger is still out there, yes. But now, Amy is not fighting alone. Lou is by her side, stronger than ever, ready to take on anything. And Amy can feel it deeply. The battle is far from over, but she finally has the strength to face it. Lou isn't just supporting her, she's standing in front of her, daring the danger to try again. The crisis isn't ending. It's escalating. But so is their courage. Night settles over Heartland, but no one feels the calm that usually comes with it. The air is thick, the silence heavy, as if the whole ranch is bracing for something. Amy sits in the living room, her hands wrapped around a mug she hasn't taken a sip from. Lou stays close, never more than a few steps away, watching every sound, every shadow, every flicker of movement outside the windows. Their closeness tonight isn't just emotional. It's protective, unbreakable, and necessary. Just when it seems like things might quiet down, another shiver of unease runs through the house. Jack steps in from the porch, his face tense. Footprints, he says, fresh ones, leading toward the barn. The words hit everyone like a shockwave. Amy's heart drops. Lou reacts instantly. Her expression tightens, her voice low but fierce. He's here, somewhere close. Amy rises to her feet, but Lou places a hand on her arm, steady yet firm. Stay with me, she whispers. No sudden moves. Amy nods, though her chest feels tight with fear. They gather near the hallway, waiting for the patrol car that is already on its way. But every second feels like a minute, every minute like an hour. The danger is no longer distant. It's pressing right up against the walls of their home. Jessica remains near the front door, eyes sharp, phone ready. Jack grips his flashlight like it's the only weapon he needs, despite his age and the risk. And in the center of it all stands Lou, more determined than ever to be the barrier between Amy and whatever monster is lurking outside. She won't let anyone touch her sister. Not now, not ever. Then, the moment that changes everything happens. A sudden thud hits the side of the house, not loud, but deliberate. Close. Too close. Amy flinches, her breath catching in her throat. Lou steps in front of her automatically, raising an arm as if she could shield her with nothing but her own body. Stay behind me, she says, voice trembling with adrenaline. They wait, frozen, until the police finally arrive. Flashlights cut through the darkness, voices echo across the yard. The officers fan out, searching the barn, the trees, the fields, but the stalker has disappeared again, leaving behind only the chilling confirmation that he was right there, watching, close enough to touch the walls of their home. Amy sits down slowly, the weight of everything crashing over her. She feels small, vulnerable, shaken to her core. But Lou kneels in front of her, holding her hands tightly. Listen to me, Lou says, her voice fierce but soft enough for only Amy to hear. "You didn't cause this. You didn't bring this danger here. Someone else did. And we're going to stop him. Together." Amy wipes her tears, but new ones fall as she whispers, "I'm scared, Lou." Lou squeezes her hands, steady and warm. "I know, but look around you. You're not facing this alone. You have me, you have this whole family, and we're stronger than whoever is out there." For the first time, Amy feels the fear shift. Still there, but no longer crushing her. Lou's presence changes everything. The bond between them feels like a shield, something powerful enough to fight the darkness closing in around them. The officers gather one final piece of information before leaving. "We found footprints and tire marks leading toward the back road," one officer says. "He's watching you closely, but now we know his pattern. We're not letting him near this property again." It's meant to be comforting, but it only deepens the tension. This threat isn't over. It's evolving. After they leave, the house falls quiet again, but this time the silence feels different. Not empty, not weak. It feels like the silence before a fight. Lou sits beside Amy on the couch, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Amy leans into her, exhausted but finally feeling a bit safe. "Whatever happens next," Lou whispers, "we face it side by side." And Amy knows it's true. The danger is still out there, but so is their strength. Tonight didn't break them, it brought them closer than ever. And as the darkness stretches across Heartland, only one thing is certain: Amy is no longer standing alone. Lou will face the storm with her, no matter how terrifying it becomes.